Hey, snowflake. And then there's a gun. So make sure it really got your attention. Like, yeah, bitch, you better read this shirt or I'll fucking shoot you. And then they're going to tell you about what's going on in the real world. I always love when some crazy right-winger starts talking to me about the real world when I know that they're the ones who literally believe there was like a sex trafficking ring in an underground tunnel network under a pizza place. And they think that like JFK Jr. is still alive and is going to run for president with Trump and shit. But they're going to lecture me about the real world all of a sudden. Okay, cool. You don't get a participation trophy. This participation trophy is so weird because I believe that like participation trophies started happening in like the 50s, if I'm not mistaken, which is the same era as they're always emulating and always trying to be like, that was when things were good, right? Hold on, let me see if I can figure out with a search. When were participation trophies introduced? So one of the earliest mentions of a participation trophy occurred on the 8th of February, 1922 in Massillon, Ohio. So, yeah, the participation trophies, not really a new thing. I guess this shirt's not necessarily implying that they are a new thing, but that does seem to be the implication a lot of times, especially when, like I said, often applied to like the millennial generation specifically. Like, oh man, you know, they just think everyone gets a trophy, so no one learns to be self-reliant. No one learns that, you know, they're a loser, I guess. A lot of people have asked me, hey, where do you do your live streams? And the answer to that is that I do live streams called Abandon Hope every Sunday on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. That is linked down below. There is all sorts of other stuff on that Patreon as well. It is about $7 a month, and I think that we offer a pretty generous amount of content in exchange for that membership. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description section of this video. Not everybody is a winner. I mean, like, no one is honestly confused about the concept that not everyone's a winner. Like, most people know when they lose, you know, they lose, because in real life, there's consequences to losing, right? So I don't think that the idea of like, hey, you participated in a sport, so here's a participation trophy, is like confusing people and thinking, I won the participation trophy. Everyone knows a participation trophy is a participation trophy. That's why it's not the fucking trophy. Like, the winner's trophy is like a big, ornate, crazy, like, you fucking won, you're incredible. The participation trophy is like a little like, yeah, you did it. You know, like, no one's confused about this, okay? There are no safe spaces, right? I love this shit because literally everyone has a safe space. These guys have a safe space too. These guys don't go to places that are totally antithetical to their values and just hang out, right? You know, they go to where the other weird gun-toting Trumpies are, and they all sit around and suck each other's dicks about how much they agree on everything. And if anyone says anything you know, against their ideology, they're immediately red-faced, flustered. Oh, what the fuck you kidding me, motherfucker? How dare you, communist motherfucker bullshit? So this idea that they're not also like living in a little bubble or cocoon of safety, just because they don't call it a safe space doesn't mean it isn't one. And that's what it is. Screaming doesn't make you right. I agree. I mean, no one thinks it. Once again, no one thinks screaming makes you right. But people who think they're right and aren't listened to probably will end up screaming at some point. And that's regardless of political affiliation. I mean, like, have we, like, you act like we've never seen a bunch of right-wingers screaming their fucking heads off, you know, about like, that fucking election was fucking stolen, man! You know, whatever. So, I don't know. No one owes you anything. I mean, yeah, some people do owe people, I mean, like, yes, they do. Some people owe you something. That's not true to say no one owes you anything. no matter who you are, chances are there is someone out there that owes you something. Crying doesn't solve problems. Once again, who thinks it does? No one fucking is like, I have a problem. It's solved. You know, like no one believes that. You're not refuting something that anyone actually believes here. But you know what crying can do is provide emotional catharsis. Maybe you have a problem and then it's like, I can't deal with this problem, so I'm going to cry now. And then afterwards, I'm going to address the problem. Now, if the person doesn't address the problem and all they do is cry, then yes, they're not going to solve the problem. But if crying is just like a way of like coming to grips with the problem, then that's fine. In fact, it might even be helpful. Nothing is free in this world. I mean, yeah, some things are free in this world. Like if I were to go outside and like pick a bunch of blades of grass out, I mean, I don't know what to do with them, but I can have them. They're there. Like I could pick a flower and be like, this is my flower now. And no one's going to be like, no, it isn't. You owe money for that flower. Or if I mean, even if I'm just like walking through like a Walmart and someone's like, hey, you want a free sample? That's free, right? I can take the free sample, I can eat it, and no one's going to charge me for it. So yes, there are things in life that are free. Now, not many, I'll be honest with you, especially not in America. There's not much that's free, but there are some things. And there should be more, in my opinion. People are going to say things that you don't like, and you are not special. Well, if I'm not special, then why are you calling me a snowflake? Because every snowflake is special, right? That's the whole thing about snowflakes. Everybody is special in their own way. I mean, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean everyone's good. But yeah, everyone is kind of fucking unique. I mean, there are no two brains in this world that are exactly alike. There are no two faces that are exactly alike, no two fingerprints that are exactly alike. You know, across the board, you know, every single human being is a little bit different than every other human being. So yes, everyone is special, literally. Even twins, there are differences. You know, the moment that, you know, this twin is named fucking Bobby and that one's named Danny, they're different. They already have something distinctive. And then as they go through their lives, they have totally different experiences and stuff like that. And they could even end up in totally different places. So yeah, I mean, even people who are genetically identical end up having some differences from one another. So yes, everyone actually is special. I don't know what that really gets us at the end of the day. I don't know if that confers any sort of like, wow, you get extra rights or something because you're special. But, you know, technically speaking, everyone is special. As for the whole thing about people are going to say things we don't like, I mean, who doesn't know that? Everyone knows that. I've heard people say things I don't like. So have you. So has everybody. Like, who are you informing of something? Like, most of the things on this shirt are just like, no shit, no shit, no shit, no shit, no shit, no shit. And the fact that like you feel like you like need to come to me in the form of a shirt with a gun on it and be like, time for me to let you know how the world works. Hoss. And it's like, not everyone's a winner. It's like, who doesn't know that? Screaming doesn't make you right. Does having a shirt with a gun on it make you right? Is that what makes you right in the world? I don't know. Crying doesn't solve your problem. Wow, no one thinks it did. I mean, like across the board, it's just like, no shit, 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 no fucking shit. But yeah, I mean, I guess it does trigger the libs, and that's really what it's for. Your ancestors who fought war against the most powerful empire on earth and died for your freedom, watching you lose yours to overweight, blue-haired women. So my question here, very simple question, by the way. What rights did you lose? You had some right. You fought the most powerful empire on earth. I don't know what that's even referring to. I guess the Nazis? Because that, I don't know, that most powerful empire on earth was probably, I don't know, the Romans at one point. I don't know. Byzantine. I mean, there's been a lot of empires. It's arguable which one's the most powerful. I guess they're probably talking about the Nazis. You beat the Nazis, you won your freedom or whatever, And now blue hair has showed up and she's taken it away. What exactly is she taking away? Which right has she come to take? I want to know. I'm curious about that specifically. Like, what right is she trying to just like snatch away from you and say, not no more, you can't. The right to call people slurs? You still have that right. There is no law against shouting out as many racial slurs as you want. You could do that. You might lose your job. You know, I mean, having a right doesn't protect you from the consequences of your actions. Just because you have the legal right to do something does not mean that you have protection from the consequences of doing that thing. So Mickey and Bugs Bunny and the Apple guy and some other dude I don't even recognize are all showing up to destroy Elon. Say, give it up. You can't fight us all at once. And Elon's eyes start to glow red with the dark power inside of him. And he says, I don't have to. I just need to make an example out of one of you. Cancel Disney Plus. And he starts beating the fucking Mickey's face in, right? I love the insane way that this is being framed. Like, hey, if you don't want to advertise with me, then you're basically attacking me. Like, that's crazy talk, isn't it? What's the argument? They should be compelled against their will to advertise with a service that they don't want to advertise with? I don't see how that's a fucking attack. If Elon really wanted them to advertise, he would make it a friendly space for advertisers, right? Now, I'm not fucking really particularly fond of advertisers, to be honest with you. I mean, I make some money off of YouTube advertisements and stuff. But like, as far as I'm concerned, the YouTube platform overall was better off before YouTube made a bunch of weird capitulations to advertisers. So I'm not necessarily saying giant corporations that want to advertise are good. I think they're really actually not all that great. But also I recognize that within the confines of the system that we have created, they have every right to not advertise somewhere. And if you want to entice them back, you're going to have to make concessions to them. And the concessions you're going to have to make are, hey, don't put our ads next to crazy Nazi shit. In fact, the fact that you allow crazy Nazi shit on your platform is kind of disconcerting to us because it makes us feel like there's going to be a commercial for Disney World, and then after the commercial for Disney World, there's going to be some guy fucking talking about how, like, we need to exterminate the Jews, and that's not exactly what we're looking for our brand at this time, right? So, you know, I don't really understand this idea that poor Elon is being persecuted here. I mean, he can either play ball or he can't play ball. And if he doesn't want to play ball, then he has to accept the consequences of not playing ball and not bitch and moan about it and make these little ridiculous... I mean, he didn't make this comic, but obviously he would agree with it. This like ridiculous, like, fuck you. I'm this great hero that's championing fucking freedom of speech, even as I literally kowtow to, you know, third world despots and censor things at their behest. And as I, you know, censor the term cisgender, and I censor the term from the river to the sea, and I censor all these other things that I don't like, but I'm a free speech absolutist because I allow crazy anti-Semitism on my platform. Like, okay, it seems like you're pretty selective about what's covered under free speech absolutism, which is kind of not free speech absolutism at that point. If it was free speech absolutism, you should be like, it's a free-for-all, say whatever you want, do whatever you want. And you can't act shocked if advertisers are not really attracted to that environment. I mean, there's going to be tons of people who are attracted to that environment for sure, but not a whole lot of advertisers, especially not on the echelon of like Disney and Warner Brothers and fucking all that stuff. Like, come on, you can't act shocked by that. So this is a sign from the movie Lady Ballers, the new Daily Wire We Hate Trans Women in Sports movie. And this is like a fake sign in front of a liberal's house to just show what, you know, horrible, insane people they are. So here's, in this house, we believe crickets are delicious. Because, of course, one of the things the right-wingers are obsessed with is the idea that, like, left-wingers want to eat bugs, love eating bugs. When like the whole thing about the whole eating bugs thing was not like, hey, we want to eat bugs, let's start eating bugs. The whole thing was, hey, with climate change just getting worse and worse and humanity doing basically nothing about it, pretty soon we're no longer going to be able to sustain the meat industry to the extent we do, and we're going to have to resort to eating insects. So maybe we should change course before that happens. But somehow that has transformed into let's all eat crickets. By the way, not even a viable solution to the problem of climate change. I mean, obviously, it was never purported to be that, but it's not even a viable solution to the problem of how are we going to get the same amount of protein, because insect populations are also massively in decline. So not even a viable solution to that. Silence is violence. Speech is also violence. Everything's violence, of course. No one is illegal, but Europeans coming to America was bad. I don't want to speak for like every left-winger on the face of the earth or anything, but as a border abolitionist, I don't think Europeans coming to America was bad. I think Europeans coming to America and waging, campaigns of violence against the indigenous peoples is bad. I think them committing genocide and forcing, the people who were here first onto smaller and smaller and smaller parcels of shittier and shittier land, I think that was probably where, the bad part came in. I don't think just the very fact of us coming here is the negative. Guns don't kill people. White people kill people. Oh, of course. Yes. Common trope. Also, guns kill people. Okay. Trans rights are human rights. Yes, that's true. Feelings don't care about your facts. I mean, I love this one. I love this narrative that they've glommed onto, this little catchphrase. I think it was Ben Shapiro that first coined it, the whole facts don't care about your feelings thing. And then every one of their arguments is just feelings upon feelings upon feelings, and they run screaming in the face of facts, but somehow they're the ones with facts on their side. I think that facts don't care about your feelings is just something they say, ironically, to make themselves feel good. Because, like, if you actually look at facts, they're not on their side. Like, they deny climate change despite what the facts say. They deny transgender people their gender identities despite what the facts say. And they would rather just go with this like very like strict sort of archaic notion of gender stringently conforming to sex, even though that's been demonstrated a million ways from Sunday to be incorrect. And like they want to believe in a gender binary despite the fact that like 1.7, 1.6% of the population are intersex. Like literally there is no gender binary. Even by like the strict definition where you believe that even if you believe gender correlates to sex, there still is not a sex binary, because there's like hundreds of millions of intersex people who are not XY, who are like XYX, XYY, etc. There's even, I think, people who chromosomally are one gender, but their genitalia is that of the other. So this is just like insane fucking garbage. None of their beliefs have any basis in fact. It's all based on feelings, because they're just like, why is climate change not real? Because they don't feel like being inconvenienced by it. Why are trans people not valid? Because they're scared of them. They're disgusted by them. So therefore it can't be legitimate, because it's like, oh, I don't like the way that feels, man. But then facts don't care about our feelings. Okay. Sure. Pride Month is every month. No, I'm pretty sure it's like June. Social credit scores matter. We don't have a social credit score system in the United States of America. And to the extent we do, it's one that we've imposed upon ourselves through social media. In exclusive inclusion. Don't even know what the fuck they're trying to say. The earth is literally going to burst into flame any day. I mean, it kind of already has in several places. I don't know if you pay attention to like wildfire statistics and drought statistics and the depletion of underground aquifers that are going to take centuries to replace. I think actually thousands of years to replace. So I don't know, millennia to replace. So, I mean, in some ways, the Earth has already undergone this this burst into flames. It's not going to be one day unless a meteor hits. But it seems like, you know, each and every day it gets a little bit closer towards being engulfed. Socialism in a nutshell. This is one of those memes where it's basically like socialism is when capitalism, right? So it starts with, I beg the government to do something about capitalism. Government passes new regulations. Governments, banks, and megacorps get stronger. I get poorer. I beg the government to do something about capitalism. Oh my God. I don't want to beg the government to do something about capitalism, all right? I just want there to not be capitalism. I'm not looking for new regulations to, you know, to make, because you pass a new regulation within capitalism, all you're trying to do is make capitalism work. All you're trying to do is fix capitalism. Like, okay, we know capitalism's got its problems, but we're going to fix it. And, you know, sometimes regulations can make things better. Sometimes regulations make things worse. Sometimes it's a mixed bag. But at the end of the day, socialists are not looking for solutions to fix capitalism and pretty it up and make it work a little better. And like, oh, maybe we can make capitalism work for everybody. That's not what a socialist believes. A socialist believes capitalism is inherently a piece of shit and needs to go. One way or the other, it has to go. Maybe it can be phased out gradually. Maybe it can be eliminated swiftly. But whatever the case may be, whatever you might believe, you know, it's got to go. You watched The Hunger Games and sided with the resistance. You watched Divergent and sided with the resistance. You watched Attack on Titan and sided with the resistance. You read about history and sided with the resistance. When it's fiction, you understand oppression. Why do you refuse to see it when it's reality? And then there's, in the background, you see the January 6th protests. Okay. So let's go one by one here. First of all, so Hunger Games. In that movie, or those books, the government was literally like starving people and then forcing them to compete in some sort of like tribute. And then like whoever's team won the fight got more food and resources. So it's basically like they had just pitted all the poors against each other. So yeah, obviously you want to resist that. That makes sense. Especially on the basis of like, we don't like the way this is done. We don't think resources should be distributed in this way. We would like to challenge the status quo, and we have to do so through revolution. Divergent, I don't know the plot of that, so I will, whatever. Attack on Titan, there are literally like giant monsters, right? There's monsters that are coming into the town and eating people. That seems worth resisting. I don't know. Maybe their story is more complicated than that. I'm sure it is. There's 1,000,001 episodes of it, but I only saw the first couple. You read about history inside with resistance. Well, history is not fiction, as you say. I love how the last thing before you say, when it's fiction, you understand oppression, is you read about history inside with the resistance. Well, history is not fiction. I mean, sometimes some of it is, depending on the historian and, you know, their goals and stuff. But in all of these instances you're talking about where a person would side with a resistance, it's because the resistance is trying to accomplish good against a system that is evil. And in the case of January 6th, what they were trying to do was install an orange despot so that, you know, trans people can't have rights and gay people can't have rights and black people can't have rights and everybody that's not like a white Christian conservative MAGA flag waver. I mean, like, they wanted the country just for them. Okay, well, I'm not one of you guys. So when you try to take over and just make it all about you and decide, like, we want fascist theocracy now, yeah, I'm not siding with that resistance, bro. Because that sounds like something I want to resist. That sounds like something that if it came into power, I would be the one throwing a fucking Molotov cocktail at it. So fuck you. No, I don't want your resistance. Even if I have criticisms of this government, like, people's like, if it was a bunch of leftists that did January 6th, you'd be on board with it. Yep. I have no problem admitting that. Sure, I sure would. You know why? Because I agree with them and I don't agree with you. That's my fucking litmus test. Hey, some people are fucking storming the White House and trying to overthrow the government. It's like, okay, what are they trying to replace it with? If it's something that's better, okay, base, cool, I'm on their side. If it's something that's worse, fuck them. And what you were trying to replace our government with was worse, so fuck you. Me normally, like pretty much a little mildly libertarian, mildly left, sort of centrist position, right? Me, when my college professors make us read a book by a polyamorous, pedophilic, Marxist feminist, and it's all the way, they've gone outside of just the authoritarian right quadrant, and they've formed a fucking crown of monarchy, and they're at the very fucking tip. They're at the pinnacle of the monarchist crown. Okay, it goes without saying, if you are a centrist and merely being subjected to an opinion you don't like is enough to fucking just turn you into a radical monarchist, then you were not a centrist to begin with. Like, sorry, no one goes from like, I am a centrist. You have a reading assignment by an author you don't like. Okay, let me check this out. Oh, fuck, I'm a monarchist now. Because this is so outrageous that I would even be asked to read this, that I now have given up every principle I had, and now I'm just a strict monarchist. Well, what if the fucking the monarch is also a fucking piece of shit, right? As they often were. Like how many of those kings were debaucherous fucking monsters that did horrible fucking things and suffered no repercussions because they're the fucking king? But I guess that's okay. Because now at least you are a peasant toiling under their boot, which is, I guess, desirable for some reason. Yay. I love this, man. So you got your Rainbow Mickey, cancel X. And then you've got, of course, as you guys know, Elon Musk, a perfect physical specimen, huge rippling muscles, military fatigues, you know, epic beard, just a very tough looking guy. Elon Musk, and he just looks Mickey dead in the eye, and he says with sublime confidence in his gritty Clint Eastwood-esque voice, "Go fuck yourself." Because that's how I remember it, you know? I love how in this, I mean, like in real life, Elon Musk, frumpy fucking dude who, you know, when he said go fuck yourself, it had shades. I don't know what it is. When these right-wing demagogues try to sound tough, they never sound more pussy than they do in those moments. It's just like when Jordan Peterson tried to like sell his toughness with that like, up yours, woke moralists. And it was just the gayest shit ever, and you just wanted to smack him in the fucking face. And now you got Elon, who like, he's like, okay, listen. If you want to go fuck yourself, okay? You know, is that clear enough? Is that clear enough for you? Go fuck yourself, okay? G-F-Y. Go fuck yourself. You're not hard. You don't come across as tough. You don't come across as hard. Quit trying. It's not going to work. No one believes you're a badass. I mean, I guess some people are willing to go along with it. So more power to them. Well, when I say more power to them, I mean like no power to them, please, ever. This is one of my favorites. This might be my all-time favorite right-wing meme I've seen. Socrates and Andrew Tate. Two peas in a fucking pod, my friends. Both men known for being great warriors, of course. Both men wear their baldness as a mark of wisdom. Both men too intelligent to waste their time reading and writing books. Both men challenge the social norms of their day. Both men accused of corrupting the youth. Both men wrongly put on trial and persecuted by the authorities. Well, I hope both men are fucking forced to drink hemlock and die then. I want the Andrew Tate story to end the same way as the Socrates story if there's all these fucking parallels, all right? The same free thinkers who hate Andrew Tate would have hated Socrates. We are living in the Matrix. Are you asking questions yet? Yeah, I'm asking myself a question right about now. The question I'm asking myself right now is, what the fuck are you smoking? Okay. So let's be fair. I want to just, for the sake of argument, for the sake of fairness, I think we should compare some Socrates quotes to some Andrew Tate quotes just to see if the parallel adds up, all right? We'll just do a few Socrates. You get the little flavor of Socrates. Then we'll do a few Andrew Tate. You get a little flavor of Andrew Tate. And we'll just see, like, how similar really are these guys and their philosophies and stuff. So, Socrates. The only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing. Yes. The unexamined life is not worth living. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Strong minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Weak minds discuss people. Wonder is the beginning of wisdom. To find yourself, think for yourself. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. By all means, marry. If you get a good wife, you'll become happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Okay, there's some Socrates for you, a little sampling of the Socrates vibe. I think we got a good fucking read on Socrates now. Let's see how similar Andrew Tate's quotes are. Here's some Andrew Tate quotes. I think the woman belonged to the man. Females are the ultimate status symbol. People think I'm running around with these hoes because I like sex. That's nothing to do with the reason why I'm running around with these bitches. I got these bitches just so everyone knows who the Don is. I go out and fuck, and I come back to her, and I don't care about her, and I only love my girl. That's not cheating. That's exercise. I was getting on a plane, and I could see through the cockpit that the female was the pilot, and I took a picture and said, most women I know can't even park a car. Why is a woman flying my plane? And they banned me. I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused, so I took her stuff and threw it out the window. If you're a 55-kilo female, I will pick you up with one hand by your titty. How can I use these women to make me money? I don't want to put them on track because they're my women. I don't want other people touching my chicks. They're like, you're under arrest for suspicion of assault of this dumb hoe. Man, you know what? I apologize. I fucking apologize, dude. I thought that there was going to be no similarities between the Socrates quotes and the Andrew Tate quotes, but holy shit, it's like they're fucking identical. Like, if you just shuffled those around, you wouldn't even be able to tell who was who, right? Andrew Tate is the modern fucking Socrates, dude. Hell yeah.